For all the latest community news and events.
103.2 Preston FM.
Your community, your radio.
Yeah, don't miss Dave, A to Z of music. Chat City on this Monday morning, and in the studio, my first guest, and it's lovely to welcome back on to Chat City, it's Victoria Schultz. So, Victoria, a very good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you again. And a family fun and sponsored walk. It's taking place in Avenham Park on 20th of July, and you're hoping to raise money in aid of Crohn's and Colitis UK.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, tell us, because I know this is a very personal story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about your story and about the illness itself, the condition.
Well, about 3 years ago, I started to get ill, and after a test, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I struggled with it quite a lot because I was doing college at the same time, and being constantly kept putting me in hospital, and it was an absolute nightmare. And about a year ago, I had to have some surgery because it's incurable, and there's medication to control it, but none of it was working for me. Crohn's disease and colitis, they're both almost the same thing. Crohn's disease is in your whole digestive tract, whereas colitis is just in your large bowel. It's inflammation caused by your immune system attacking its own cells, and it causes just horrible symptoms like lack of appetite, diarrhea, sickness, just constant, and then you get follow-on problems from that. Like, I was anemic to the point where I had to have a blood transfusion. And
right.
Yeah, so it's quite a big problem.
And I mean, before they diagnosed it, had you heard about Crohn's? Did you know anything about it?
If I'm honest, I'd never heard of it.
I know. And it was after the diagnosis. So the first indications for yourself personally that something was wrong was problems with digestion and with eating, etc.
Yeah, I was just really ill and like really down, and I wasn't really eating properly. So after about 2 months, I eventually went to a doctor.
And did they were they able to diagnose what it was quickly, or did you have to undergo quite a series of tests?
At first you have loads of blood tests, like loads, and then they look for something called an inflammation marker in your blood. I'm not a doctor, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then if you've got those, they send you off for a colonoscopy, and that's really they'll actually diagnose you. Right.
So then, after the diagnosis, did you talk to other people? Did you get in touch with Crohn's and Colitis UK?
If I'm honest, no. At the time, I didn't really know that there was like a charity out there, and I found out recently there's actually support groups on Facebook. Whereas I didn't know all this, I sort of went through it alone.
Right. So have you now started to make contact with others?
Yeah, I have, all over the country.
So you must have felt quite strongly about this to then want to raise money for them to, go into, presumably, I would imagine they'll also be using it for research and for many other purposes, but I would imagine research is the biggie.
Yeah, the money goes towards research, but also providing support and care for patients that are affected. Or even the families,
Yeah, because I mean, what about yourself? I mean, did your family, did they know anything about it?
Not really. As far as we can tell, there isn't a history of it in the family, which normally is where it comes from. But no, my family didn't really know anything about it either.
So how are you able to control it these days now? Does it affect your life now?
Well, since having I had some surgery last July, I've been in remission, so I'm sort of like healthy now.
Right.
But it's just a shame that such a drastic measure has to be taken.
And through making contact with other people on Facebook or anybody else that you've had conversations with, is the journey very similar to yours? Does it seem to, be a similar route that people go down to actually get the diagnosis?
Yeah, getting the diagnosis is quite a similar route, But I've found a lot of people have had it for much longer and been suffering for much longer than I had, because I was only for 2 years and it was just terrible, and I couldn't imagine. I've spoken to people who've had it since they were like 5, so they've had it for almost 20 years now, and I couldn't imagine that.
And did it really impact on your daily life when, before you had the operation? Was it something that really stopped you enjoying life daily?
Yeah, because you can't go anywhere without worrying about the nearest toilet.
Right.
So if my friends invited me to go somewhere, I'd have to be like, is there a toilet there? And I kept having to go into hospital because I kept getting ill, and it was a nightmare at work because I've got a part-time job. And it was a nightmare with college. I kept falling behind and having to catch up. It was just...
So really, I mean, it impacted on all parts of your daily life, didn't it? Because unless somebody's been there, people would find it difficult to know what it must be like.
Yeah.
As you say, if you were going out with friends or you were invited somewhere, having to know there was a toilet not far away, I suppose becomes the priority rather than thinking about going to enjoy the day.
Yeah, I couldn't speak to her. I only had like 2 friends I could actually speak to it about. My other friends, I was sort of embarrassed about talking about it. So I didn't know there was so many people out there that I could talk to. So I ended up getting quite lonely, and I did have depression for a little bit.
Right.
So yeah.
So that's the other side of this, isn't it? For maybe anybody who's listening who yet maybe hasn't sought medical attention, as you say, the other side of it is the fact that you weren't able to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
And that probably makes everything seem even worse, the condition worse, and daily life. And now here you are, you're talking on the radio about it, so publicity for people who are listening, and also a family fun and sponsored walk. So what made you want to do this? Did you suddenly think, what can I do?
Well, I just wanted to do something good out of my bad experience. I didn't want to just go, oh, I'm ill, and bed it down. I thought, I'm going to use my story to reach out to others and raise money.
Right. So this is going to be taking place at Savenham Park on 20th of July.
Yeah.
So hopefully a nice summer day when the 20th of July comes round.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
If it's raining, I'm still going to do it.
Well, lovely. That's right, yeah, because, I mean, there's nothing nicer. You just take a brolly, don't you, and prepare for it, but it's still raising money for a brilliant cause. So what are the times, and tell us a little about the day then.
Well, everything is going to start around 10:30. But the actual walk itself won't start till about 12, because we need time for all the participants to actually come in and sign in and get some refreshments. There's also going to be I'm going to have a face painter and a little bake sale. It's not going to be a big event, but it's going to be a nice little fundraiser.
And the start, it's a nice way of starting to raise funds, isn't it? Maybe then you decide to do something more.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the future for it to be a bit of a bigger event, get a bit more publicity.
So it's taking place 20th of July, and it's at the Pavilion, which you can't miss. It's the new Pavilion down there. Signing starts at 10:30, and that's why special. Well, even if it rains, the park is still a lovely place. You just take a brolly, don't you? Because there's a 5k picturesque walk along the riverside and towards Penwitham. Is that right? And registration fee is £10, and participants get refreshments and a T-shirt. So how can people find out more, Victoria?
They basically just email me at my email address, which is victoriaschultz@hotmail.co.uk.
So there you are, Victoria Schultz, and Schultz is SCHULZ, yeah? SCHULZ @hotmail.co.uk. Did you say you've got a face page?
Yeah, I have got a Facebook page. You can just search, I think it's Family Fun Sponsored Walk in aid of Crohn's colitis, and it would pop up.
And if anybody's listening, they can also go to the Crohn's and Colitis UK website. I was having a look at that this morning. There's lots of information on there also. And there's information about the research that they're doing at the Crohn's and Colitis UK. So you can have a look there. And you say there's also people who communicate with each other through Facebook pages, etc.
Yeah, there's. I think I've got about 3 Facebook groups that literally just everyone just talks to each other and shares their problems and that.
Because sometimes that can be a great strength, can't it? As you said before you had the diagnosis, sometimes you were feeling quite depressed because you couldn't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
So people being able to talk together honestly about how they feel really is part of the treatment, isn't it? And about making you feel good.
Yeah, it helps people to share their experiences with each other and give each other tips and on stuff. It's nice. I just wish I'd found out about them sooner.
I know, and that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And these days, are you on medication? Will you have to take medication, or is it more or less that after the operation you just kind of are monitored now medically?
I'm not on any medication. After the operation I am just sort of monitored because I'm in remission at the moment, but it can come back because the inflammation can be in any part of your digestive tract, so it can come back anywhere.
Right. Well, I hope people turn up on the 20th of July. It's the Pavilion. You can sign in at 10:30 and the walk sets off around 12. And as we say, it's raising money for the Crohn's and Colitis UK. And again, the email address, Victoria, where people can contact you.
It's victoriaschultz@hotmail.co.uk, and that's spelled SCHULZ.
There we are. Brilliant.
Made by people like you.
Your community,
Your radio, your Preston FM.